Hey, how's it hangin', earthlings? I'm Mr. Grey 3000 and welcome to The Dreamer's Guide to Distant Worlds. In this video, I'd like to introduce you to the Earth-like moon of Orobluma. It is a world located in a faraway place in a faraway time. It orbits a beautiful blue gas giant called Sapphire. It is a lush and exotic world teeming with life forms of all shapes and sizes. Some of these beings look quite familiar, while others look wildly alien. Today we'll be covering a being that fits the former description, the sweeping bushsprite. Sweeping bushsprites look very mammalian. They also look quite bird-like, but they're not mammals. And they're not birds. Heck, they're not even animals. Sweeping bushsprites belong to a completely separate tree of life and occupy the biological kingdom known as Akemo'olia. The Akemo'o, as they are referred to by the sapient natives of this world, are orobluma's equivalent of Earth's animals. Sweeping bushsprites belong to the biological class known as Oviparithera and are specifically located within the family referred to as Curvabilis cauda, a family that contains the likes of the burly giant kikubug and the adorable towertails. There are numerous species of sweeping bushsprites roaming around every continent on Orobluma, but we'll just be focusing on one for this video. The sweeping bushsprite may seem somewhat unimpressive in comparison to its much more bizarre cousins, but to a poor dactylocrusta like the eosocial Paui, they're a gargantuan force of nature, and it's all thanks to that big black bushy tail of theirs. A bushsprite's tail is nearly the same length as their entire body. The tail is covered in thick layers of tetraphyllum with thousands of talon-like strands designed to grab onto the shells of their favorite Paui meals. When a bushsprite finds a Paui hive, they proceed to use their flexible rope-like tails to penetrate and sweep through it, grabbing as much prey as they possibly can. During this process, they make sure to protect as many of their weak spots as possible in order to avoid serious injury. The sweeping bushsprite seems to be completely unaffected by the biting and pinching of its Paui prey items, but their tolerance for pain only seems to go so far. Once a sprite has taken too much punishment, they quickly remove themselves from the situation and eject a cloud of urticating tetraphyllum that quickly disorients and irritates the Paui swarm before they can begin to give chase. It is not well understood why this happens, but the disorienting integument causes the Paui to tangle up into little balls, endlessly crawling over one another until they die of thirst or hunger. The sprites also use their specialized integument to fend off predators. If an attacker gets too close, they'll get hit with a cloud of urticating tetraphyllum and suffer an irritatingly itchy fate as the little sprite makes a clean 28 mph getaway. When a sprite is feeling extra hungry after raiding a Paui hive, they will run away from the swarm without ejecting their urticating tetraphyllum and lead the swarm to the nearest body of water. From that point on, the little critters will proceed to dunk their bodies into the water, leaving only the big bushy tail out of it, which they will then use to sweep through the swarm for even more prey to eat. Like many humans, sweeping bushsprites form monogamous pairs. And like many humans, they also mate while facing each other. They most likely do this to avoid irritating or pricking each other with their tails while in the middle of the act. About a month or so after fertilization, the female will begin the next step in reproduction. She will lay a fatty, expandable protective sac filled with 6 or so eggs. This sac will keep her and her mate's eggs warm, cozy, and extra protected while the two of them forage for food. This unique aspect of their reproduction is why they are called Oviparithera, which basically means egg bag beast. Like many animals on Earth, sweeping bushsprites use their tongues to clean their little bodies, but when it comes to cleaning their tails, extra steps must be taken. After they've had their fill of Paui, bushsprites will seek out the nearest body of water and swish their tails around in it. They do this to remove various Paui-related debris like legs, guts, and whatever else they didn't ingest. The smaller creatures within the ponds, often very distant cousins of the Paui, take advantage of this event and feast on the buffet that the sprites unwittingly bring to them. Speaking of cleaning, the various Ma'ika Akunic cultures of Orobluma often capture bushsprites and make various grooming products out of the integument located on their bushy tails. The urticating tetraphyllum is completely removed, and the claw-like tetraphyllum that is used to catch Paui are soaked in various solutions to make them just the tiniest bit softer. Royals and nobility are groomed with the best quality brushes by their servants. So, what did you think about today's trip into the distant world of Orobluma? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to show those like, subscribe, and share buttons some love. And also be sure to ring that notification bell to make sure that you're always up to date with the channel. Also, if you'd like to support the Mr. Grey 3000 channel, go on ahead and buy me a coffee with Ko-fi, or better yet, consider becoming a patron. With Patreon, you can pledge as little as $1 a month or more for early releases, concept artwork, and exclusive content. Regardless of what you do, any support is truly appreciated. If you'd like to see more of my artwork, go on ahead and follow me on Instagram or DeviantArt. By the way, if you'd like to experience the stories that are unfolding on the world of Orobluma, go ahead to Tapas and Webtoons and subscribe to Temple Vati, my science fantasy webcomic that chronicles the day-to-day experiences, exploits, and adventures of a heroic group of mages. Alright folks, have a good one, and take care.